Greetings! This is Countess Narvan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome! It's time to do a little game here. So what I'm going to be doing here is Dungeons & Dragons Warriors of the Eternal Sun. So I've loaded it up here. The Goblin Wars lasted 13 moons. Duke Hector Baron is forced to retreat to his castle. The goblins pass for the final assault. Our waves will pass from the earth by nightfall. Let the bards praise our courage. The earth begins to tremble! The sky rips open. Man and goblin alike sucked into the void. The castle has been transported to a valley with impossibly high cliffs. A red sun flares, circled by floating continents. The horizon here as the basin, the bottom of a basin. Dungeons and Dragons, Warriors of the Eternal Sun. Okay, so today we're going to be playing Dungeons & Dragons Warriors of the Eternal Sun. So this is going to be my first episode here. I'm going to go through some character creation and getting us into the city. I'm going to try not to go too long here. So let's just start with it. Now, this is using a combination system of the original Dungeons & Dragons First Edition and the Second Edition, sort of somewhere in between, hybridization, I'd call it. Whoop. Did not want to... Great new party. Alright, so as we can see here, we have 4 classes and 3 races. The 3 races function as sort of combination classes. So the question is, what kind of party do I want to have? Now, my traditional party is either one of two. My traditional party is either doing all 4 classes, or all 4 elves. Now, the problem with all 4 elves is elves level up very slowly. Elves are a combination of fighter and wizard. They're very good characters, but they don't get full wizard spells in the long run. You want a cleric. Clerics are very good. It makes them heal very quickly. The thief is not necessarily needed. I'm going to say that. They can do some things with traps, and that's about it. Otherwise, I would not recommend a thief. They're not that helpful. I mean, they're okay. That's to say, they're okay. But again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the thief. Let's take a look at what classes we want to have here. Now, there's some very good questions here as to what kind of party we want to build. We know we want a cleric. Well, we're probably not going to put our cleric in the first position. So then the question is, what position do we want to put who in? And what do we want to play? We're going to want to also have a magic user, a mage. They're very helpful. Getting full spells is a very good idea. There are some very high-level spells, which I would recommend, which come from having a magic user, and you can't use them unless you have them. Alright, so now the dwarf is good because they're very good in melee combat like a fighter, and they're good against things like magic and poison special attacks, but they're limited in the ranged weapons they can use. Halflings are sort of just, well, they're terrible in this. So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to have 4 characters. I'm going to start with a fighter. So we're going to have her. So what she's going to do is we're going to first go up and give ourselves a name. I'm going to name her Hotaru, after Sailor Saturn, favorite from Sailor Moon. So, okay, we're going to want a really good strength now for her. So we're going to want to roll some dice here. Now, let's see, we already got a 17 here. Let's see what our other stats are. Dex of 13, con of 15. That's not bad. That's pretty good for the fighter. I might want to take this. Like the wisdom, intelligence, charisma aren't very important for a fighter. But I could keep rolling here and try to see if I can get better. Why don't I try a little bit longer? Let's see if I can get to a much better number here. If I get a 16, 17, or 18, I will look at it. But otherwise... Oh, I skipped a 17 there, and I skipped a 16. I'm just... That's the only problem with the system is if you want to go fast and like go to a lot of good numbers, you have to keep hitting the button. And... No, it's good constitution, but the dexterity... I'd like some at least decent dexterity. Intelligence is not important at all for this class. This can be taking a while. It's rolling a character's stats, and you can try for a lot of 18s. I've done it before, but it takes a long time to get that sort of very ideal with a bunch of 18s where you want them. And so that's why I'm going to be a little more spendthrift here and go for something that looks decent if it's got a 16, 17, or 18. So here's an 18. A little less constitution. Dex is about the same as it was before. So I mean, maybe I'll just stick with this. Okay, so we can use... We're using A to select everything here. We can use C to switch characters. And we're keeping that person red. So let's go for a cleric. Let's get another cleric female. Let's name her Suzume. After Suzume Sakurojoshi. Another anime. I like Cyber Team in Akihabara or Akihabara Dennogumi. I would recommend it. It's a fun one too. So I'm going to want Wisdom here. I'm already starting with a good Wisdom, but I have a lot of 9s, and I don't really like that. So, 18, 14 Strength, Con and Dex aren't very good, 15 Charisma. I mean, that's good, but I just don't think it's good enough, because the other stats, a bunch of them seem like they're suffering. And I don't want that. I want the stats to be really look at me and say, I'm good. Okay, Wisdom 17 here. No, we're gonna keep going. We want a Wisdom at a time. Wisdom is very important for being a cleric here. As your healer, you're gonna want a very good Wisdom. So I'm gonna do a little bit of button hitting here until I get something that I can notice and stick with. Just like I did with the fighter. It takes a little bit of time to get these stats to a good point in time where you really feel like you're happy about it. See, this is a good constitution, but the strength is so bad. Now this isn't a very good constitution, but the dex is very bad, so you're going to have a very good AC. So that's going to be a trade-off. So I want a very good AC and a little decent attack, pretty good wisdom. The only thing is your constitution, your bonus hit points aren't going to be very high. Now you are a healer, so maybe we'll go for this. This is a fine flaw. Now let's change color. Make you blue. Go to the next character. Now, I am going to add a magic user. What am I going to do? I'm going to name this magic user after one of my D&D characters. We're going to name him... Nathan. Now, Nathan was less a... whoops. At the end. Nathan was less... spellcaster and more swashbuckler, but he actually did become an arcane caster at the end of his lifespan. I made him an Eldritch Knight. He finally ended up on. He was sort of a pirate captain. So, okay. That's his name, Nathan. We're gonna make Nathan green. That's a good color. So we're gonna want a high intelligence. Now this already has a high intelligence. This is pretty terrible. Dex is pretty good. I mean, this isn't bad, especially since Dex is going to be very important for the magic user in the long run. But I kind of feel like maybe I want to roll this again to see if I can get some more constitution. That's better. Dex went down a little bit. Con went up a little bit, so more hit points. But I think we can do better. Okay, so we're going to have high Dex. Constitution's down low. A little more strength. Intelligence is very high. You know, I'm going to play with this. The wizard will not be able to take a hit. I'll have to reposition the wizard to be in a defensive position. But, I mean, this isn't bad either in the long run. So there's Nathan. And then I'm going to add an elf in. And I'm going to name the elf after me. Tantus. Alright. Let's make me yellow. I'm fine with yellow. Now I'm going to want a lot of good stats here as the elf. So this is going to be the hard one to roll out. Ooh. That actually might just be it. 18 strength, 14 intelligence, pretty good intelligence, 14 dexterity, 14 constitution. I mean, that actually might be the best bet I'm going to get. The thing is, I've got the very high strength, and then I've got some pretty decent stats to go with it. So I think, actually, I'm going to take that. I think that was a very lucky roll. I think I could possibly get some better rolls. Like, charisma and wisdom aren't that important, but, I mean, I kind of like where we're at now. So then we go over here, and we can use either A or B to exit. And again, we're using the C to swish around in here, and the arrow buttons to move around. So I am going to play now. Let's start it. Up. We are in a strange new world. There is a new enemy here. Our people need allies to survive. The gods must defend our castle. You have been chosen to explore our new home. The gods have given us a second chance. Serve me well and bring us allies. Alright, so we're in. So this is one of the two modes. This is going to be our top-down sort of third-person mode. We can approach people and talk to them. We can get in front of them. The beastmen bear ancient markings. Some spells don't work in this new land. So we can talk to people that way. Now, we're just exploring now. Now, there are some things we're going to want to do. I want to talk about some of the things. So we're going to go into our start menu here. So here's our start menu. We've got our inventory, which we can move around, leave camp. This counts as camp. Rest our party if we need to heal, regain spells. Save. Why don't I save? How do I save? Right here. Yep. Right there. We can also load our game, transfer items. We can move items between characters. View our map. I'll show you the map of the valley here. You can see the castles in the center. You can see that there are some caves on here you can see. There's an area of fire up in the left corner. You can definitely see some caves on this map. Little campsite sort of to the northeast. We'll explore all of this in the playthrough. Then there's some options which we're going to do. Let's see here. Bar graphs are off. I want to see the numbers of hit points. We're going to keep the music on. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. We are going to change the roster. I think I want him in the back. Much as that's not always the best position for the wizard. Traditionally, you're not attacked from behind a lot. So you have to also drop some items in front of camp. Okay, so I'm going to look at my inventory. Go over a couple of things. Okay, so as you can see, the first column, that's our ability scores, which I've talked about in some of my Dungeons & Dragons playthrough and Pathfinder game talking about. The numbers, they mean different things in this game. Strength's going to be important for your melee attacks, Dex for your ranged attacks, Intelligence for your wizard, Wisdom for your cleric. The Charisma for your cleric also helps in their turning. Constitution is bonus hit points, that sort of thing. Dex also improves your AC. Now we're doing very 2nd edition AC, which means as your AC gets better, the number goes down. Hence why we have a 7 here, and it started at 10 as the base. The Dex and the shield I'm carrying affected it. So what you can do is you can see all the way over on the right, there are 2 slots. This represents like 2 items you can use normally. Right now I only have the sword. The shield is automatic carry. But I could equip a 2nd item in my B slot. So for the note, that's the buttons you use. A slot for the first one, B slot for the second one. Okay. As you can see, then we go to the next column at the top though. We are fighter, first level, 9 out of 9 hit points, AC 7, 2,000 experience to the next level, 1,100 gold. Now you gain experience by killing monster, and whoever kills the monster gets the experience, but you also gain experience for getting gold. So if someone should get gold, it splits the gold evenly among the party, and people gain that amount of experience also. So that's another way of getting money. As you see, we use the C button to cycle through our characters. And as you can already see here, I'm just going to do a quick cycle. Everybody needs a different amount of experience to gain level. The elf needs 4,000. The cleric only needs 1,500. And you can see, we don't have a lot of things to select from. The elf starts with sleep. Wizard starts with magic missile and a staff. Elf's got a spear. You've got a mace here. Sword and shield here. And everybody has a different amount of gold to start with. So we got some gold here. I'm probably going to want to save a little bit of gold. I know what a lot of the secrets are in the castle, so I'll walk you through finding them before I start spending money. So I'm going to do that next time, though. We're going to sort of do that. But we've already looked over our characters. back. Start back. I can always rest the party. So it gives you the option to change the spells. Look at the spells I have. I only have sleep. Nope, no spells memorized. Okay. So, okay. Why don't we exit out of here? See that the Duke, he's got the same thing today. Beware of the swamps. And definitely talk to these people here. Let's talk to Duke. He says a lot of the same things again, and all he has is, serve me well, and bring me allies, and I will reward you. Now I'm going to go up and talk to the old wizard here before I leave, before I end this playthrough, just because I want to introduce you to him. This guy over here, he's the older wizard who looks after the town here. He is definitely someone you want to talk to. He can give you a lot of great advice. Oh, I heard there's a rumor. I've heard a rumor. There's a monster in the city dungeon. As you can see, people can just walk up to you and trigger you talking to them. It is good to see our wise Duke has assigned this important task to such brave adventurers. Please bring me any artifacts you find so that I may study them and learn more about this strange new world. I will pay you well for anything that can help me in my studies. Hopefully, what I learn will benefit you as well. So the thing is, what he does learn benefits us as well. The Beastmen come from the north. The Beastmen are the enemy that the Duke talked about that we will be encountering, and I'm fighting plenty of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you a lot of things here. And there is a little bit of level grinding occasionally in this game, and I would probably do that off camera. I would probably do a little better on my own. But for now, I'm just going to show you the basic gameplay here. So, let's talk to him before we go. There are dinosaurs in the swamp. The swamps are stuff. Yeah, I'll explore some of these places and show them to you, even though there's only certain places that actually have dungeons. But why don't I show you one of these dungeons? I know there's a dungeon here that doesn't have anything in it, so I'll show you that with you. So this is what happens when you go into a dungeon. You go into a first-person mode. You can see that in the upper left corner is my directional pad. So see, I came in from the east. It's west to leave. It says, you are in a guard tower. So I move around front and back with the forward and back keys, and I turn with these keys. Now the thing is, it also functions a lot like it did outside, that monsters can keep moving on their own, but in a way it's also turn-based, and like every movement I make affects them. Now you see, I can cycle through people's abilities. When I press the A button, I'm making attacks, but there's nothing to attack. The same would be through my B button. You watch it. Oh, turn. There's nothing to turn. Now, unfortunately, I can use turn at will on every one of her turns, but the sleep spell and the magic missile spell, they are one-time uses, and I would run out if I would cast them now. So I'm going to save them. I don't use sleep a lot. It's okay. I do use magic missile a lot. But you can see I can explore this tower. A hatch bolted from the other side leads to the roof. Unfortunately, I can't get there. It's bolted from the other side. There really isn't anything in this tower. Now, my elf can occasionally detect secret doors when I walk by them. The other way to detect secret doors is to walk into a wall. I'm walking into this wall right now. There's not a secret door there, so I'm not finding it. But as you can see, so this is the inside dungeon, and the walls will sort of tell you what kind of dungeon it is. See, this is a very manufactured dungeon. If you're in a cave, you'd have cave walls. You will see a lot of different types of walls as I explore this place. And there are various monsters occasionally in here. So we will encounter some of those next time. But yeah, so that's one of the little areas you can visit. We've already heard that. So I'm going to save it over here. Maybe I'll talk to this guy here before I save it. We've heard about that rumor. So why don't I go into my menu here. I'm going to save the game. Yep. Okay. So I think that's good enough for now. We've gotten into the basic introduction of this game. I'll get into it more. Probably I'll play through maybe like 25-minute, half-an-hour episodes. I'm probably just going to keep this one here at this amount of time, just because I'm introducing you to the game, and I'm not getting into how to play it right now. But I'll get some big things. We'll explore. We're going to discover some things, talk to some people, fight some monsters, kill them, all that sort of thing. So until the next time, I bid you farewell.